already talked to us. Like, bro,
They could do that, yeah.
bro,
They can absolutely play that.
he told me about y'all in Chicago, this and third. If that loose end is tied up, what do you think?
What I would do, so if I was the guy, what I would, so one thing I used to do, which was, really fucking powerful, is I would do phone toll analysis. So anytime someone is like a criminal, right?
Yeah.
On the day that the crime happened,
Yeah.
you want to look at every single person they called. Because more than likely, the person that they call the most on that day is going to be a co-conspirator of some kind. So anytime I used to do a drug deal, this is what I used to do when I was an agent. I would do an undercover drug deal, right? I'd send my informant in, I send an undercover in, right? He would go ahead and buy the drugs. I would monitor the what's called a pen register, right? Have I explained what a pen register is before?
I think you did. I don't really remember what it is.
I'll say it. We got like 8,000 watching. I'll explain it. They might not been watched other episodes. A pen register is what's also called known as a trap and trace. And what this does is it is a real live feed of all phone calls and text messages coming in. Now, it's important to note that you don't get the contents. You just see who contacts. So if I got a pen register on your phone, I'm going to see every person that texts you and every person that calls you real time, but I won't know what's in the content of messages. You need a Title III for that, right? And to get a Title III, you need to have a pen register up. But I would do a pen register, or I would do a phone toll analysis, do a subpoena, get their phone records. And on the day of the robbery, I would look at every single person he called, and the person he called the most, 9 out of 10 times is a co-conspirator. Because when I do drug cases, anytime I did a drug deal, the person he calls before we do the deal and the person he calls after the deal, more than likely 9 out of 10 times is a supplier. And that's how I'm able to work my way up the organization.
Okay. All right.
So that's one way to do it. Another thing they could have done was, because these dudes are probably idiots and had their phones with them, you can do what's called a historical ping warrant. And what a historical ping is you're able to do a search warrant on the phone. It's basically a search warrant. You need probable cause. And you can identify all the polls that connected to the phone. And what that does is, this is really good for murder investigations. What it does is it shows where the individual does to damn near a meter sometimes with the accuracy, because it uses all the different cell sites to put you in a precise, exactly. It triangulates exactly where you were.
Hey, by the way, in off topic a bit, did you see in the situation or the case where they robbed 6ix9ine's house, they used that? Which I thought,
yes.
I was like, yo, they're using cellular GPS info to catch dudes who did a home invasion. No one got hurt.
Right.
Granted, it's a horrific crime, but you could tell these cops, at least down there in Palm Beach, they're not playing around. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, and crime like that doesn't happen that much. And I used to do that, those warrants myself, man. So, yeah, dude, it's very, that's how they caught the pipe bomber, the DC pipe bomber. They caught him with the cell site warrant. And it's pretty solid, bro, because that's how they got Brian Kohlberger as well. Brian Kohlberger, 6ix9ine's assailants, or robbers, and what was the other one? Oh, and the DC pipe bomber. They used cell site information to get them.
Interesting.
So those are the two things I would use, assuming Alonzo was killed and I didn't have access to talk to him.
Yeah.
It's only fair, right?
That's crazy. You say on the 13th?
The 26th.
The other thing I would do is I would use like license plate readers and or like car. There's scanners all across the highways nowadays where you can see cars coming in and out on highways.
January 26th.
I know I wasn't there. I wasn't at nobody else. I wasn't at nobody's house.
Okay. Who you in a crime scene, the whole 9 yards. You're touching your face. You're hitting the.
Can I see?
Yeah, I'll grab them.
You said I'm hitting what?
You're touching.
Okay, that's another giveaway. Oh, can I see the picture? Huge giveaway.
Your face. You got a mask on. Yeah. You're touching your face. You're touching the lizard cage. You're touching your face. You're touching different areas. You're breathing through the mask. Okay. We're getting to the point of the evidence is mounting up
Boom. There's the UPS shit.
so high.
That's great.
It's hard to get out. Okay.
They probably did a search warrant to find this stuff. I'm assuming the day they brought him in, they probably conducted a search warrant at his house and then brought him in after.
Why do you think they didn't throw that away?
Idiot. I don't know why he didn't throw it away. I'm actually shocked he didn't.
Like burned
But
it?
you know what, bro? They probably these niggas, bro. They probably thought they weren't gonna get caught because they didn't think that the cops would find their license plate. So what I think is, the cops identified them, they got arrest warrants for them, and then they executed search warrants and brought them all in after the search warrants, all one shot. Because these dudes had no idea that the poll camera was there and that they would get caught this quick. They thought they had done it. You know, they were good to go.
there's also audio. And you can be heard on there saying, ain't no big dog, is it?
Yep, that's when he gets cooked.
What?
Ain't no big dog, is it?
Hey, by the way,
What do that mean?
one second.
Okay, at that point, he's probably shitting his pants now because that's a very intimate and nuanced detail that only the criminal investigator would know.
And let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
They bothered to try to dismantle a camera outside as they were running out. I wonder why not. Did they not notice the cameras inside the house? Like, if you're walking around, if it's a Ring camera, you would be able to see like that light. Like, why not? I know they're a little frantic inside, but why not plug it out? Like, granted, it's probably in the cloud, but they do none of that. They actually don't even interact with the cameras. They actually, I mean, maybe that's the reason why he put the thing up, but I'm wondering why
They
not
only
try to
took the
tamper
outdoor
with
camera.
those.
I think it was sloppiness, and then also after that dude shot and killed the dad, they just wanted to get out of there. I don't think that was the plan, was to go in there and kill them. So,
Do you think any possibility any of those cameras in the house were cameras
they
by
might have not noticed
investigators?
them. Oh, what by
Like,
seized by investigators?
No.
They got me feeling like I'm academic.
Everyone's gearing up for the holidays.
Happy together.
Snoop Dogg is the reason why Tupac was on Death Row Records. So in our minds, we was like, Tupac need to be with us. So you need to go get him and bring him with us. Suge went and cut the deal and got him out, and who did he come to when he got out? He came to me and Daz. That's why Daz laced him up with all them hits in the beginning. He came straight to my house. One night, that nigga pulled me to the side. He was like, everything we do on Death Row is military. This nigga was probably like 2 days in. And he checking me on what we finna be doing. I'm listening to the nigga too, like, your boys don't get to talk to me, and my boys don't get to talk to you. For real, right? So I'm like, okay, this shit cool. But I forgot to tell my niggas. Beat the murder case, now we in Belize. We fly to Belize. So we on the beach, just everybody Death Row. And so Corrupt say something to Tupac, and Tupac like, you ain't even supposed to be talking to me, nigga. And Corrupt like, nigga, what? And they back and forth, and then nigga Tupac tell Corrupt, oh, nigga, you ain't even on my level. Nigga, I had an outlaw's deal with you. Nate Dogg stepped up and said, what the f I'm gonna be doing when that's happening? The MC Hammer tried to jump in, like, that niggas was like...
MC Hammer?
He was part of the crew.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
I'm looking at Pac, he looking at me, and I'm like, damn, I forgot to tell these niggas, like, shit. The nigga Suge come in. Man, knock out, what y'all niggas tripping off for? Man, we all family and whoop-de-whoop, nigga. And then niggas start laughing and it was over with.
This is 15 years ago, and I had just gotten back from my infamous South Africa trip. And I came to the punchline just to cheer myself up. It's a safe place where I could tell some jokes. And I find out that this comedian I know, Chris Tucker, who's in all those Rush Hour movies, I find out that Chris is in San Francisco too at some charity event. So I call him, I'm like, yo, I just saw you at some charity event. I said, I'm doing a show at the Punchline. Why don't you come by the club after your event? He's like, cool, Dave. I thought she was dead, nigga. I'll come by. He said, is it okay if I bring some friends? Because, you know, I'm with a lot of people. I go, man, you Chris Tucker. You can bring whoever the fuck you want. And then I show up to the club late that night. Sitting in the dressing room is Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, who and sitting next to her was Al Gore. It's fucking weird. And it was Chris Tucker and Paul Mooney was drinking scotch. At some point, Kamala Harris says, a friend of mine is announcing his candidacy for president tomorrow. I went to college with him. I'm like, what? I go, Barack Obama? She goes, you've heard of him? I'm like, yo, I just read about this dude. And she goes, yo, yeah, blah, 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 we talking. She goes, you know what? She says, let's call him on the phone. I said, what the fuck? And she picks the phone up and she dials and she's listening like this. And she goes, it's his voicemail. And she gives me the phone. She goes, leave him a message. You know, I didn't know what to say. I just said what you say to any black dude that's running for president. You know, stay low, running a zigzag pattern, this kind of shit. And then the last thing I say is, you know what? I said, sir, I really do believe you can do this. Like, man, I'm wishing you luck. Now, I had a chance to go to the last debate on the Democratic ticket, and I went. It's me and Chris Tucker sitting in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's the last three candidates. It was Barack Obama, John Edwards, and Hillary Clinton. Now, Obama's a lot taller than Edwards and Clinton, and he had the center podium. And at one point, they're all on stage, and they start fussing, and Obama goes, look, none of us are perfect. And I was sitting in the audience like, this nigga looks like Jesus. And I realized in that moment that I was looking at the next president of the United States. I was certain of it. I couldn't explain it, but I knew what I was seeing. And I got really excited. And I'm not that kind of guy. I said, I gotta meet this motherfucker. So I stayed. They were all on stage doing interviews, and I just waited. I was waiting and waiting, but Obama was taking forever. He finishes his last interview. He's like, well, thank you very much. Good talking to you. And he turns around, and we make eye contact. He sees me, and when he sees me, he looks over, he goes, Dave Chappelle. And he, like, bro hugged me, and he pulled me in, and I'll never forget this. He said in my ear, I got your message.
And I have 10 urgent messages from Jay-Z. Call me now. I was in Russia. I don't know if y'all remember when like one of the reporters tried to kiss me.
Oh, yeah,
and I slapped him, right? So I'm in my room, and I have 10 urgent messages from Jay-Z, right? I'm like, Jay don't hit you, or he's like, call me now, with exclamation points. And I was like, yo, like, Jay don't do that. Right. So I get in, I go, yo, what's up? And he sounds winded. He's like, yo, what's up, man? What's up? So, yo, what's happening? He said, hey, I just saw the video of you slapping the dude in Russia. He said, I just want you to know you'll never make a better piece of entertainment. He said, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. He said, me and B, we got a show tonight, and we thinking about canceling it and just staying in and watching you slap this dude off. And, you know, we talked about it after, and he was like, it was such a breath of fresh air to see you just be authentic. Yeah.
Diana Ross just stood up right in the middle of the prayer and just started. I was gonna play Richard Pryor, man, and then his wife. I didn't screw his wife, his ex-wife, and she got mad. You're not gonna play Richard. You didn't spank this ass. Oh, she gonna sue me for this. You're going to people's court, nigga.
People's court. People's court. I ain't
don't. Yeah, man. But I went to Richard Pryor's funeral, man, and none of his friends got up there and talked about him. Paul Mooney, none of them people went up there to talk about him, bro. Monique went up there on the stage. She didn't know him. And George Lopez went on the stage. He didn't know him. He wasn't even in the casket. The casket was shut. We all in there crying. She done burnt him up somewhere. Diana Ross just stood up right in the middle of the prayer and just started. Ooh, I swear to God, I'm not born. Hey, I can't tell you a lie. She just started singing like, oh. She had a big ass hat with a net on her shit. I get on the stage, right? I'm on the stage. I'm coming down because I've been on coke for 2-3 nights. They think I'm crying for Richard, but I'm crying because I've been high all night. His kids is sitting there crying, man. So when I seen his kids crying, I start crying because it just made, I'm like, damn, that's their dad. The lady told me that night, you're not ready to play Richard. I said, fuck you, bitch.
I get to my room and I'm literally like putting a key card in my room. Next door swing over. Yo, Jordan, you good? I'm like, yeah. DMX brought me to Toronto.